So I'm really excited today because today I get to talk about financial rules of thumb that have influenced clients' lives over the years. Those financial rules of thumb happen to sometimes be great guidelines, but on other situations, they can overestimate, underestimate the direction somebody is going. And it can often influence how you think about your own personal financial walk. So we want to spend some time talking about that. Where does a right turn change those rules of thumbs, or a left turn, or something you've got going on in life that's either forced upon you or something you do to yourself, and things to think about. So first rule of thumb often applies to somebody getting ready for retirement, how much they allocate to bonds or stocks. It basically says, take 100, subtract your age, and that's how much you should have in stocks. Or vice versa, take your age and that's how much you should be in bonds. It's a generalized rule of thumb, basically says that the closer you get to retirement, the more conservative you are. Well, when you become more conservative, that means you're going to get less return in the future. And the question really comes into play is, and what I often hear is, I'm getting close to retirement, I need to cut back, I need to do some different things. In reality, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you don't put a plan together, you don't know. And if you become too conservative and you maybe get yourself into more bonds beyond what you need and you're getting a 3 or 4% return that seems very safe, in reality, inflation's now above 3 or 4%, you might run out of money before you're ready. But unless you do a personal financial fitness test and check the boxes to make sure you're on the right page, you don't know. The next rule of thumb has to do with how much you should save. This rule of thumb says I should be saving 10 to 15% of everything I make. Great rule of thumb. It applies to almost every situation as long as you've allocated appropriately. What I mean by that is if you choose to save 10 to 15% and put all your money in your mattress, and inflation all throughout your life is plugging along at 3, you're falling behind. And that's a big problem. So if you invest and your net return is 3% after you paid fees and so forth, it's going to take 24 years before your money can double. And in 24 years, let's suppose that's your retirement date. You've doubled your money, but you now got to take 4, 5, 6% out to meet your needs. You still have to take 4% out, plus maybe some costs. Somebody's managing your money. Maybe you've got to cover inflation at the same time. So now 4% distribution is really 8% distribution rate. Is that doubling at a 3% return going to achieve what you need? You don't know if you don't check and double check those numbers with a financial planner, putting all the cash flows together and looking at that picture over time. If that 3% is invested in an IRA and you're pulling that money out and you're needing 8%, well, 8% is going to cover the cost. It's going to maybe cover the taxes, and it might cover inflation. But at the end of the day, you're going backward too fast. It also depends on whether you had a pension and how much Social Security was a part of your income. All of that is going to determine what's the best allocation. And so a 10 to 15% rule is great, except for your situation could make that completely different depending on how you allocate it. Life insurance is really important because if you're the sole income earner and your income goes away and you've got a family, you've died, got hit by the automobile, the worst thing that could possibly happen, and there's nothing left over, you have to have life insurance. It's really important. But the rule of thumb says have 5 times your salary. Is that a right rule of thumb? Is that correct? All depends. Now, if you're the sole income earner with no kids and no wife, do you need 5 times? No, you don't need any of that. But what happens if you've set a plan, you've done everything right, and you know exactly how much money you need for retirement, and you got married, and also now you're planning a family? How much do you need? Is it 5 times your income? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe initially, when you don't have a whole lot, you've not saved enough money, maybe your emergency reserve is not there, you need insurance. And 5 times rule of thumb is a good starting point. But having a plan and knowing is better than not, because you can sometimes put too much in the wrong type of policy. It's costing you too much, and now you have your cash poor and you can't build an emergency reserve. You can't build your retirement fund, and you can't build a fund for the kids. It all is into context. So is 5 times appropriate? Depends on where you're at. And so what the point of all of this is that we have so many tools today. whether it be on the internet, whether it be a neighbor who's telling us what they've done. We have to take all of that information and decipher it into our own personal financial walk, as it's not easy to do. And if you have somebody that's done it and is invested in helping others make the best decisions with their money, spend some time with that person first. And that's what Credent brings to the table, whether you're a young person getting started, getting ready for retirement, or whether you're that person who's in retirement trying to decide, can I help my grandson go to school? Can I take money out? I'm on a fixed income. Can I, can't I? Having knowledge to do the right thing to achieve your own personal financial walk and goals is very, very powerful, and it provides a peace of mind that's unlike anything else. And we are here to help if that's what you're looking for. If you have any questions about what makes the most sense for your lifestyle and retirement, reach out to our team at contactus@credentwealth.com.